What is up? Welcome back to the Jeremy Awakens podcast. Today's episode is going to be all about the spiritual significance of Passover. Now, many of you who listen and follow me on social media are aware that I am Jewish. I've always been Jewish, but my Jewish identity has become stronger in the last 18 months, especially since the horrific acts of October 7th. And it's really been a beautiful journey for me personally as I reconnect in a deeper, more meaningful, more spiritual way to Judaism. Because I grew up like many Jews, and I went to a day school and elementary school, and I got bar mitzvahed, and I was always proud to be Jewish. But I never really resonated with the teachings. I never had a rabbi that inspired me. I never had a sage or spiritual guide that really explained things to me in a way that made sense, in a way that inspired me to be a better version of myself. So my intention with this is to briefly go over the spiritual intention of Passover, also known as Pesach, which could be considered the most important Jewish holiday of the year. And I grew up going to Seders, and it was boring. It was like 4 or 5 hours of saying these prayers and blessings that I didn't really understand, doing all these rituals without ever being explained or told what the meaning or significance was. So I just want to help other Jews, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're religious or not religious, whatever the situation is, like, how can we just better utilize these different holidays as opportunities to ascend spiritually and become a better version of ourselves? And what's beautiful about Judaism is that it's such an intentional faith and religion. There's so much intention that goes into it. So that is why I wanted to record a short episode, because all of this stuff that I'm sharing with you is stuff that I've learned in the last few months. And I'm like, oh, wow, if I would have known this when I was younger, I would have been so much more interested in celebrating and diving deeper in learning. But no one ever told me these things. So as you may or may not know, Passover represents the Jewish people's exodus from slavery in Egypt. We were stuck, we were constricted, we were limited. And Passover marks the beginning of our journey to liberation. But here's the thing. Just like the Jews escaped Egypt and escaped slavery, we all have our own version of Egypt inside of us, our own internal prisons, limiting beliefs, toxic patterns and habits that are holding us back from becoming the best version of ourselves. So Passover is a beautiful opportunity to look ourselves in the mirror, reflect, and gain a deeper understanding of our own inner world. What are the own negative habits and thought patterns that are imprisoning us, that are enslaving us from ascending to the next level? So these 8 days are the most powerful opportunity to really dive deep within yourself, be real with yourself, and remove any of those lower vibration habits from your life. That is the beauty of Pesach. That is the beauty. So I want you to take a moment and really gain clarity. Hey, what are those internal prisons that are holding me back? What are those areas of my life where I am chasing instant gratification, where I am chasing external validation, where I am not acting in accordance with my highest self? Passover is the best time to really ascend spiritually to the next level. But if you want to ascend spiritually, we have to understand, hey, where am I holding myself back? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings and emotions? What are the habits and patterns that no longer serve me, that are making me small, that are shrinking my vessel. And once we identify those and we no longer are enslaved by those things, that is when we are able to take the next level. That's when we're able to expand our vessel to receive more light. And the reason we receive more light is to share more light with others. Okay? So you're probably already familiar, if you're Jewish, you're probably already familiar with matzah, right? Matzah. What is matzah? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Before there's matzah, we are told to remove the chametz from our home, right? So chametz is bread. It's metaphorically the ego, attachments, instant gratification. So when we remove the chametz from our home, the different foods that contain grains, that contain wheat, that contain leavened bread, more importantly, we are also removing the chametz internally. If you look at this matzah, it's unleavened bread. It's deflated. And the whole intention of Passover is to deflate our egos, to no longer be a slave to our ego, to no longer be a slave to attachments, to no longer be a slave to instant gratification. So as we remove the chametz from our life, we are allowing ourselves to purify our priorities. We're allowing ourselves to simplify our lives. We're allowing ourselves to align in a deeper, more meaningful way to our highest self. We're allowing ourselves to receive more light from the Creator. But the only way that happens is by having the awareness of what's holding us back and then taking very aligned actions to remove those things. Okay, so a few questions I just want you to ask yourself, right? If you have a pen and paper, amazing. If you're listening to this while you're at the gym or driving, take some time later to journal on these questions, okay? Number one, where in your life are you chasing a quick fix? Number two, what habits, thoughts, or addictions are keeping you enslaved? Number three, how can you return to the most authentic essence of who you are? Okay, again, what are those habits, thoughts, and addictions that are keeping you enslaved? Really spend time on that. Is it scrolling mindlessly on social media? Is it eating when you feel emotional? Is it giving in to reactivity and anger? Is it consuming too much alcohol just to numb yourself and escape your reality? What are those things that are holding you back? Be real with yourself. Let's go. This is your time. Like, this is your opportunity to ascend. Let's not waste it. And I want you to remember, this is so important. Freedom is not just physical. Freedom is energetic. Because so many people are technically free. They're not in a physical prison, but they are absolutely enslaved mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They are stuck in a prison. They are stuck playing small. So your responsibility is to actually break free from the prison of your own mind. Reprogram your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your habits, your patterns. Understand that the things from your past do not necessarily align with the highest version of yourself. And this is the opportunity of a lifetime right now to ascend yourself spiritually, to really break free and become the best version of yourself, to become the version of yourself that you know you're destined to be. So think about that. Where are you still a slave to technology, to validation, to comfort? Passover is an invitation to break free from these chains and step into radical responsibility and conscious living. Remember, God did not just take us out of Egypt. God took Egypt out of us. Remember that. And what about crossing the sea? This is the courageous act of stepping into the unknown, trusting the path even when it hasn't been revealed yet. This is one of the most challenging things in the world, because as humans, we are programmed for safety. Okay? Understand, your brain's number one priority is to keep you safe. So as soon as it senses the unknown, as soon as it senses a little discomfort, it's going to try to return back to what feels comfortable, what feels normal, even when those comfortable conditions don't serve you. So that is why you cannot be a slave to your mind. You need to have the courage to step into the unknown and realize that God has your back. As long as you are continuing this evolution of expanding your vessel and receiving the light, you will continue ascending. And sometimes we just don't know where that path is going to take us. Sometimes you can have all the plans, you can have all the intentions, you can have all the preparation, but at the end of the day, God has his own unique roadmap for you. Your soul has its own unique blueprint, and sometimes we can't predict that. But as humans, we are programmed for safety, for comfort. So as you go through this process, it's going to require some trust. So I want to finish off by really just, first of all, thanking you. Thanking you for being willing to listen. Thank you for being willing to grow. Thank you for being willing to expand. Thank you for being willing to deflate your ego. If you've ever felt disconnected from your culture or your roots, I want you to know that there's deep wisdom in these traditions. We just oftentimes we're not taught how to look beneath the surface. So much of religion is surface level. It's based on all of these rules and ideologies. But when you peel the layers back of Judaism, you realize how beautiful, how spiritual this religion is, how deep the traditions go. I mean, when we talk about this matzah, we're not just talking about unleavened bread. We're not just talking about deflated bread. We're talking about a deflated ego. We're talking about no longer being a slave to instant gratification. We're talking about being more humble, more simple. These are the symbolic frequencies of Passover, of Judaism, of matzah. So, as we conclude this episode, I really just want to say a prayer for all of us. May this Passover be a time of deep realignment. May you release the Chametz that no longer serves you. May you walk forward in faith, in freedom, in full connection to your truth. Because at the end of the day, you are the medicine. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope that this episode may have inspired you to just be more curious about your roots, maybe more curious about Passover. And whether you're Jewish or not, it's always a good opportunity to ascend, to elevate, to let go of the things that no longer serve us. That is why we were put here, to receive the light so we can share the light with others, so we can make a positive impact in the world. We weren't just put here to simply exist. We were put here for a very divine reason. Your soul has a unique blueprint, and only you can express that blueprint. But if you want to fully optimize your soul's potential, You have to deflate your ego. You have to be willing to let go of the habits and patterns that no longer serve or align with your highest self. You need to be willing to let go of instant gratification because we live in a world that is addicted to quick hits of dopamine. You want quick sex? Keep swiping right. Eventually you'll find it. You want quick dopamine in terms of food? Hit up Uber Eats. Literally within 15 minutes, you can have any food delivered to your door without even moving an inch. What about vaping? All of these people who are ripping their adult pacifier, who are absolutely destroying the dopamine centers of their brain because they're addicted to numbing themselves. They're addicted to instant gratification. The only way that you're going to become the best version of yourself is you realize that, oh shit, I need to grow up. I need to deflate my ego a little bit. I need to stop giving in to every single craving that I have. That's what's holding you back the most. You're sacrificing the highest version of yourself in the long term for instant gratification in the short term. So many people are falling into this trap. I don't want you to be one of those people because I know that you have so much power and potential inside of you. I love you. I appreciate you. If this episode resonated, please show some love. Leave it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching it. Share it with a friend. It genuinely means the world to me that you made it to the end of this episode. And like I said, I was completely disconnected from Judaism for a majority of my adult life. And in the last 18 months, since October 7th, it's just been a wild spiritual journey. You'll always see me wearing my Star of David. I never take this off. This is part of me. And as Jewish people, we need to rise up. We need to stay strong. We need to stay proud. And we cannot allow our light to be dimmed. In a world where anti-Semitism has become cool, it's become trendy, it's become normalized, it's become glorified. We need to stay strong. Because remember, we are 0.2% of the world's population. So if you stay silent, you're doing a huge disservice to our community. Stay strong, stay proud, stay connected. I love you. I appreciate you. And enjoy this Passover holiday with your loved ones. Make the most of this opportunity to become the best version of yourself. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time on the Jeremy Awakens podcast. Peace out, y'all.